Hello everyone, welcome to Diplomatic Briefing. The Dutch government's forceful seizure of Nexperia, a Chinese-owned semiconductor company, led to countermeasures from China and caused supply chain tensions for many car manufacturers worldwide. Under pressure from both the EU and China, on November 19th, Dutch Minister of Economic Affairs Mickey Adriaansens issued a statement announcing the suspension of the administrative order against Nexperia. China welcomed the Dutch side's proactive suspension of the order, considering it a step toward properly resolving the issue. All parties have taken the first step, but at the time the Ministry of Commerce had already stated that there is still a gap between this and resolving the root causes of the global semiconductor industry and supply chain turmoil and chaos. The standoff between Nexperia Netherlands and its Chinese subsidiary continues. The Dutch government-controlled Nexperia Netherlands parent company has stopped supplying wafers to its Chinese business entities, attempting to prevent Nexperia China from independently completing products for delivery to customers. And in order to force the major shareholder Wingtech Technology to make concessions, Reuters reported exclusively on December 19th that a letter showed Nexperia China had already secured local suppliers for wafer sources, enough to cover all of their production needs for one type of power chip in 2026. The report said that although China and the Netherlands eased tensions at the government level last month, legal disputes and internal power struggles over control of Nexperia Semiconductor are still ongoing. Reuters obtained a letter that Nexperia China sent to distributors earlier this month. In the letter, the company stated that it had already finalized wafer production capacity for its 2026 IGBT products with local suppliers and is currently accelerating the verification of wafer products from Dingtai Xiangxin Semiconductor to ensure sufficient supply. Analysts pointed out that this previously undisclosed move marks a further decoupling of the supply chain between Nexperia China and its Dutch parent company, and could even possibly lead to a complete split between the two sides. To briefly summarize the dispute between Nexperia's Dutch parent company and Nexperia China, it involves not only business interests but also the United States, which is pushing Europe to join forces in cracking down on China's increasingly powerful supply chain. From a broader perspective, it looks even more like the Netherlands is helping the US conduct a tentative stress test on the weak links in China's supply chain. However, the ultimate outcome is predictable. After a period of short-term pain, domestically produced substitute products will accelerate to fill the weak links in China's supply chain. American or EU politicians often loudly call for decoupling from China, reducing dependence on China, and forming one alliance after another to suppress China's development, even resorting to technological blockades. But recently, I came across an article that mentioned a rather ironic example, didn't it? 6 years ago, a European startup developed a breakthrough technology that could turn what was once considered waste, low-grade bauxite, into high-quality raw material needed for aluminum production. This innovative technology not only promised to revitalize depleted mines, but also opened a new door for extracting critical minerals and rare earth elements essential for semiconductors, electric vehicles, and the defense sector. Initially, this technology, right? Yes. The technology was announced to the public at an industry conference in Miami, USA. At that time, from Washington to Brussels, Western governments were hyping up concerns about dependence on China and repeatedly calling for the revitalization of fragile supply chains. The outside world originally thought that this European invention would first be implemented in Europe or the US. However, 6 years have passed. Although European and American officials have been busy holding frequent meetings and issuing policy statements, calling for the reshoring of critical mineral production, there has still been no real progress. There has been no substantial progress, not even a prototype of the project has been seen. And, in a dramatic twist, this technology, which was regarded as the hope for breaking free from dependence on China, ended up being first realized in China, where the world's first large-scale industrial park for this application was built. What's more, it took only 10 months from groundbreaking to production. According to a report by the South China Morning Post on December 10th, China has quietly advanced at lightning speed, with related developments taking place in Shaanxi, a traditional coal-producing region. In Liulin County, a joint venture between the French-Swiss company IB2 and Shaanxi Shenji Energy Technology Group has rapidly completed the engineering design, obtained construction permits, and carried out commissioning for a project focused on the comprehensive utilization of rare earth mine waste. The project officially began production in November, marking a significant milestone. This revolutionary extraction technology has achieved large-scale application for the first time globally. The report points out that this project will help China develop its abundant domestic reserves of low-grade bauxite, effectively reducing its dependence on bauxite imports from Guinea and Australia. And its value? It goes beyond just achieving self-sufficiency in aluminum resources. It can also extract gallium from the ore. It can even potentially extract key materials such as rare earth elements, which are core materials for the clean energy revolution and modern military industries. At the commissioning ceremony, Bertrand Gilbert, CEO and co-founder of Beitushou, expressed his delight and told the South China Morning Post with admiration that China accounts for 60% of the world's aluminum production. If you work in the aluminum industry, it's impossible not to cooperate with China. The efficiency of Chinese enterprises is astonishing. This kind of speed is impossible to achieve anywhere else in the world. Only China can do it, and that is truly unique. China's heavy reliance on Guinea and Australia is unreasonable, and their technology can help China regain control over its mineral sovereignty. As a widely used light metal, aluminum is extensively applied in electronic devices. Aluminum is used in automobiles, airplanes, construction, solar panels, and other fields. As the world's largest producer and consumer of aluminum, China has seen its high-quality bauxite reserves continuously shrink after decades of mining, leading to a long-term heavy reliance on imports. According to a research report by Dongxing Securities last year, China's external dependence on bauxite has already reached nearly 90%. According to a paper published in May in the authoritative international journal Mineral Engineering in the field of mineral processing, China's bauxite reserves account for only 3% of the global total. Researchers from the Chinese Academy of Sciences and Henan Metal Enterprises also disclosed in the paper an innovative method to improve the extraction efficiency of alumina from low-grade bauxite. Because the high content of impurities in low-grade bauxite reduces the efficiency of traditional extraction processes. So what about Bit Company? Their solution, which achieves desilication while retaining alumina, is extremely attractive to mining enterprises currently facing the challenge of declining ore quality. According to Perry, the project director and technical expert at EBIT, their technology can increase the aluminum content in diasporic ore from 48% to 70%, enabling the production of an unprecedentedly high-grade product. The quality of the bauxite ore is not only characterized by a low impurity content, but the purity of the alumina is also extremely high. He further explained that the greatest benefit of this process is that during the refining of bauxite, once its concentration reaches the critical threshold, separation and extraction can be achieved. The metals that can be extracted include gallium, which is used in semiconductors, nickel, which serves as an alloying element in steel, vanadium, which is used to strengthen steel, and most widely known, lithium for batteries. Although Altec has also negotiated cooperation with countries such as the United States, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and India, the global debut of their technology ultimately took place in China. The core reason for this choice lies in China's dominant position in the market and its strong demand for self-sufficiency in metals. Gilbert said, "We are not aiming to completely eliminate imports, but rather to achieve a new balance between supply and demand. In the current climate of accelerating deglobalization, for a country that hopes to rely on its own domestic resources, it might be possible to restore the ratio of imports to domestic production to 50-50 or to another more acceptable level." During the interview, Gilbert also mentioned that the comprehensive utilization project for bauxite residue has received strong support from Shaanxi province. The local government, under the premise of compliance, has helped foreign enterprises advance the factory construction process and provided a great deal of assistance. He said that the Shaanxi provincial government recognizes the value of their technology and has positioned them as a game changer for the development of local industry. In China, factory construction is strictly regulated, especially in the areas of environmental protection and hazardous materials management, where controls are even more stringent. Of course, they have strictly complied with all the regulations, but the support from the Shaanxi provincial government has provided tremendous help in advancing their project. He added that, as a foreign-funded enterprise, sometimes progress can be slowed down due to communication issues, but whenever such problems arise, the government steps in to coordinate and help resolve them. At the national level, Gilbar believes that this technology has the potential to drive China to adjust some of its expansion and mining policies. Relevant departments will realize that the widespread diffusion within the country actually holds significant economic redevelopment value. As for Sunze, it is the first company to agree to carry out technological integration with Ebidu. Because of this, Gilbar refers to the cooperation between the two parties as Ebidu's true flagship project in the Chinese market. Senji Group is located in Liulan County, Shaanxi. Their business initially focused mainly on coal production and processing. Later, during their transformation process, they expanded into the fields of bauxite mining and alumina production. According to available information, Sunzi has an annual production capacity of 1.3 million tons of alumina, corresponding to an output value of 3 billion RMB, and also owns a production line with an annual capacity of 40,000 tons. Ms. Liu, the Executive Deputy General Manager of Sunze Group, said in an interview that the technology provided by Beto allows low-grade bauxite to be directly sent into the existing production line for processing. This not only turns waste into something useful, but also maximizes resource utilization. She said that currently, this kind of technology has not yet achieved independent breakthroughs domestically. Since there is an opportunity to introduce it from overseas, they are boldly embracing it. After all, if you don't take risks, there will be no gains. Kirball emphasized that it would be impossible to find such an efficient partner anywhere else in the world. The reason why the project was able to be implemented so quickly is fundamentally due to the collaboration with Chinese companies. Their efficiency is truly exceptional. This kind of speed is unique globally and simply cannot be achieved in other regions. It's truly incredible. At the same time, Beto is also testing bauxite ores from surrounding provinces such as Henan and coastal areas. These ores are being processed by them. The technical processing at the front end has already been verified, and their plan is to step up efforts to promote the technology in China as soon as possible. Kirball said that in the next 5 years, Beto plans to expand to 7 clients in China, and at the same time, within 2 years, increase the annual processing capacity of low-grade bauxite at the Liulan base to 3 million tons. Beto also hopes to encourage more Chinese companies to mine economically valuable domestic low-grade bauxite, thereby reducing dependence on foreign sources and enhancing mineral sovereignty. In conclusion, the saddest thing for the US, Europe, and the West in this story is not whether they are lagging behind or leading in science and technology, but that even after all their painstaking efforts to develop new technologies and innovations, when they look around, they find that there are no longer any scenarios or political environments in Europe and America where these can be applied on a large scale. Even if they try to push it through by force, they'll find there's no supporting industrial chain or technology. And the irony is, in the end, they still have to choose China. Not only is it the most efficient in the world, but it's also the only place with a sufficiently large market, bold enterprises, and comprehensive application scenarios that allow new technologies to be implemented efficiently. What's especially ironic about this technology is that despite its origins in the mindset of desinization, it ultimately ends up being developed in China.